All India Radio presents Morning News. Good morning, I am Abhishek Mukhopadhyay and with me is Subhadra Ramachandran. The headlines. India and China committed to reduce tensions along the line of actual control. Both the sides to implement disengagement understanding of 6th June sincerely. Food and Public Distribution Minister Ram Vilas Paswan rolls out details of the second phase of the PM Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana. Uttar Pradesh government to launch a special campaign today for door-to-door medical screening in all districts of Meerut division. Second cabinet expansion of Madhya Pradesh cabinet to take place today. First resolution for coronavirus passed by United Nations Security Council demanding immediate cessation of hostilities and conflict zones to tackle the pandemic. And Russian President Vladimir Putin records resounding victory in the presidential polls according to preliminary results. India and China have emphasized the need for an expeditious, phased and stepwise de-escalation as a priority along the line of actual control. Both sides have been engaged in discussions through established military and diplomatic channels to address the situation. Commanders from the People's Liberation Army (PLA) and Indian Army held a meeting at Chushul on the Indian side yesterday for another round of talks. This was the third senior military commander level engagement to discuss issues related to disengagement at the face of sites along the LAC and de-escalation from the border areas. This is in keeping with the agreement between External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar and his Chinese counterpart during the conversation on 17 June. Both the leaders agreed that the overall situation would be handled in a responsible manner and both sides would implement the disengagement understanding of 6th June sincerely. Our correspondent quoting sources reports that the third meeting between the Lieutenant General level officers of both the countries yesterday was long and held in a business-like manner, keeping in view the COVID-19 protocols. The discussions reflected the commitment of both sides to reduce the tensions along the LAC. The process of disengagement along the LAC is complex and in such a context, speculative and unsubstantiated reports need to be avoided. Sources say more meetings are expected both at the military and at the diplomatic level in future to arrive at mutually agreeable solution and to ensure peace and tranquility along the LAC as per bilateral agreements and protocols. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh is likely to visit Ladakh tomorrow morning along with Army Chief General M.M. Narvane. He is expected to meet the brave hearts of the Indian Army who pushed back the Chinese forces during the face-off which took place on the 15th of last month in Galwan Valley. Union Minister Nitin Gadkari has said that India will not allow Chinese companies to participate in highway projects, including those through joint ventures. Talking to a news agency, the minister said the government will ensure that Chinese companies are not entertained in various sectors like micro, small and medium enterprises. He said this is a step towards making India self-reliant. The minister said permission for road construction will not be given to joint ventures that have Chinese partners. He also said that a policy will be out soon banning Chinese firms and relaxing norms for Indian companies to expand the eligibility criteria for participation in highway projects.
The United States has issued a business advisory to companies with supply chain links to entities complicit in forced labor and human rights abuses in Xinjiang and throughout China. The move comes as part of the series of tough measures that Trump administration has been taking in the last few days. It includes designating Huawei and ZTE as national security threats and President Donald Trump's signing of the Uyghur Human Rights Policy Act. Describing China as one of the world's most unfree countries, United States Secretary of State Mike Pompeo yesterday said that a day earlier the Chinese Communist Party implemented its draconian national security law on Hong Kong in violation of commitments that it made to the Hong Kong people and to the United Kingdom. He said the United States is deeply concerned about the law's sweeping provisions and the safety of everyone living in the territory, including Americans. The Union Minister for Food and Public Distribution, Ram Vilas Paswan, has rolled out the details of the second phase of Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana. Under the program, 5 kilograms of wheat or rice to every member of the family will be given. 1 kilogram of chana for each beneficiary family will also be given free for 5 more months. It will benefit nearly 80 crore people in the country. In a virtual media briefing, Mr. Paswan informed about the steps taken by the government for providing additional food grains to the states. He reiterated Prime Minister Narendra Modi's commitment to ensure that poor and needy people will not be hungry in the country. Free ration will be provided to them during the rainy season and forthcoming festival season amid the ongoing pandemic. The minister said that in a span of next 5 months, a total of 200 lakh metric tons of grain and 9,78,000 metric tons of chana will be distributed among the National Food Security Act beneficiaries. He informed that both the phases of Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana will together incur a total expenditure of 1,50,000 crore rupees. Mr. Paswan informed that he has also written letters to the chief ministers of all the states and union territories and has requested them to make necessary arrangements to implement the One Nation, One Ration card scheme.
Mizoram Chief Minister Zoramthanga has expressed happiness with the central government giving extension of the Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana PMGKY for the next 5 months. While addressing the nation, Prime Minister Narendra Modi had declared the extension of PMGKY from 1st of July to 30th November. In a tweet, Chief Minister Zoramthanga thanked Prime Minister Modi for the extension of the PMGKY. He also thanked the Union Minister for Consumer Affairs, Food and Public Distribution, Ram Vilas Paswan, for this initiative. Under the PMGKY, all beneficiaries under Antyodaya Anna Yojana, AAY, and Priority Household, PHHH, are provided additional food grains of rice or wheat at 5 kilograms per person per month, free of cost. The recovery rate of COVID-19 patients has improved to 59.43%. To the last 24 hours, 13,157 patients have been cured, taking the cumulative figure to 3,47,978. Presently, there are 2,20,114 active cases, and all are under medical supervision. As a result of the coordinated steps taken by the central government, along with states for prevention, containment and management of COVID-19, there are 1,27,864 recovered cases, more than the active COVID-19 cases as on date. In a statement, Health Ministry said the testing lab network in the country is further strengthened. The cumulative number of samples tested so far is over 88.26 lakh.
Uttar Pradesh government will launch a special campaign today for door-to-door medical screening in all districts of Meerut division, which have a large number of corona-positive patients. This kind of campaign will soon be launched in other parts of states also. The state government is also going to establish a big testing lab in Ghaziabad district for augmentation of COVID testing. Our correspondent has the details.
During the 10 days long campaign, health teams will visit each household of the districts in Meerut division. These teams will do medical screening of the members of the family and collect the data. This exercise will help in identifying suspected COVID patients and their early treatment. Additional Chief Secretary Home Avnish Awasthi said that Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath has insisted for giving special attention on districts of Meerut division which are close to NCR and are having large number of cases of COVID-19. He appealed everyone to cooperate in the screening process. Meanwhile, the state has achieved highest recovery rate till date, which is currently around 70%. Sushil Chandra Tiwari, AIR News, Lucknow.
In Bihar, the death toll due to COVID-19 has gone up to 73, with reporting of 6 more deaths. 3 deaths were from Patna and 1 each death from Muzaffarpur, Sitamarhi and Samastipur. The number of positive cases has mounted to 10,205, while 7,811 people have so far been cured and recovery rate has been increased to 77%. At present, 2,319 patients are undergoing treatment in various hospitals. In view of the pandemic, the state government has issued instruction to suspend Shravani Mela in different parts of the state during the month of Sawan. Shiva temples across the state will be closed till 4th of August. Devotees have been requested to do puja celebrations at their homes.
In Madhya Pradesh, the COVID-19 case count climbed to 13,861 with addition of 268 new cases in the last 24 hours. The death toll in the state has risen to 581. The state has 1,039 active containment zones. More in this report.
A total of 260 persons were discharged from hospitals in the last 24 hours, taking the number of recovered cases to 10,655. Of the 268 fresh cases, the highest count of 73 was reported from Morena district. As per the State Health Bulletin, the number of cases in Indore, the worst hit district, rose to 4,734 and death toll to 232. The number of cases in Bhopal stood at 2,830, including 101 fatalities. No new coronavirus case was reported from 20 districts since yesterday, while 4 districts did not have any active cases. Sanjeev Sharma, AIR News, Bhopal.
In Gujarat, the total number of COVID-19 cases has reached 33,318, with 675 new cases reported in the last 12 hours. Quoting the State Health Department, our Ahmedabad correspondent reports that 21 patients have lost their lives, taking the death toll to 1,869. More from a correspondent.
Out of 7,411 active cases in the state, conditions of 63 patients are critical. 368 patients have been discharged from the various hospitals after recovery during the last 24 hours. With this, the total patients recovered from the COVID-19 have gone up to 24,038. More than 3,80,000 tests have been carried out in the state. Meanwhile, state government is providing all medical help to people through Dhanvantari Arogya Raths. 992 such Dhanvantari Raths have already provided medical help to more than 10 lakh people. Yogesh Pandya, AIR News, Ahmedabad.
In view of rising number of coronavirus patients, the Maharashtra government in its latest decision has decided to acquire private ambulances and other vehicles which will be used to ferry patients to hospitals. The move comes after the private ambulances charged exorbitant fees from the patients. More in this report.
Maharashtra government has issued a resolution to acquire private ambulance to meet shortages amid the rising number of coronavirus cases in the state. The decision was taken following complaints that private ambulance are charging exorbitant rates for providing services. District administrations will take over private ambulance and other on-hire private vehicles. Such ambulance and other vehicles will be used for asymptomatic COVID-19 patients or the patients whose condition is not very serious. Meanwhile, task force of expert doctors will be set in different districts of the state to combat the spread of coronavirus. Madhuri Pange, AIR News, Mumbai.
Telangana state continues to witness spike in COVID-19 cases, with 1,018 fresh coronavirus positive cases being reported yesterday. This takes the overall COVID-19 cases reported in the state to 17,357. Recoveries are also on rise, with 788 patients being discharged yesterday, taking up the number of people recovered from the virus to 8,082. Presently, a little over 9,000 people are under treatment at various hospitals in the state. The High Court has directed the state government to comply a slew of its orders before 20th of this month related to tackling of COVID-19 in the state. More from our correspondent.
The state government attributed the surge in the COVID-19 cases to the non-essential travel that is being taken up by majority of people of all walks of life in the state. The daily bulletin said basic preventive measures like wearing masks and maintaining safe distance are not being followed. Meanwhile, the state high court asked the state government to implement a slew of measures over COVID-19 related petitions and asked the chief secretary and other top officials appear before it if they are not complied before 17th of this month. The bench headed by Chief Justice Raghavendra Singh Chauhan directed the state to file affidavits by superintendents of all government hospitals giving details of their infrastructure, safety gear and number of PPE kits distributed to doctors and paramedic staffs on a daily basis to tackle COVID-19. The bench directed the government to furnish findings of the central team. Lakshmi, AIR News, Hyderabad.
The Tamil Nadu government has decided to establish piped oxygen supply to the beds in 59 state-run hospitals. It is allocated over 75 crore rupees for the project. The total COVID-19 cases crossed 94,000 in the state, with 3,883 people testing positive yesterday. The new cases include 2,182 in Chennai. More from a correspondent.
COVID-19 testing has been considerably increased over the past few weeks. In the last 24 hours, more than 30,500 people have been tested for the virus. In Chennai, it has reached the level of 35,000 per million, as informed by the City Corporation Commissioner. It is considered one of the highest in the country. The doubling rate of the pandemic in the most crowded places in the city is also steadily going up, though the city continues to witness more patients in terms of absolute numbers. Jai Singh, AR News, Chennai.
You are listening to the morning news on All India Radio. A reminder of the headlines before we move on. India and China are committed to reduce tensions along the line of actual control. Both the sides to implement this engagement understanding of 6 June sincerely. Food and Public Distribution Minister Ram Vilas Paswan rolls out details of the second phase of the PM Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana. Uttar Pradesh government to launch a special campaign today for door-to-door medical screening in all districts of Meerut division. Second cabinet expansion of Madhya Pradesh cabinet to take place today. First resolution for coronavirus passed by United Nations Security Council demanding immediate cessation of hostilities in conflict zones to tackle the pandemic. And Russian President Vladimir Putin records resounding victory in presidential polls according to preliminary results. For quick news updates round the clock, follow us on our Twitter handle @AIR News Alerts.
In Punjab, 101 new cases were reported positive for COVID-19. 122 patients were discharged from various hospitals after recovery, and 5 corona deaths were also reported in the last 24 hours. Our correspondent reports that out of total 101 cases found positive, 41 are from Ludhiana. With this, the number of positive persons found so far in the state has risen to 5,668. The number of recovered patients has risen to 3,989. The 149 deaths have also been reported so far. In Haryana, 527 corona patients were discharged from various hospitals after recovery. 393 new cases were reported positive for COVID-19 and 4 patients died within the last 24 hours. The recovery rate in Haryana further improved to 70.27%. Our correspondent reports that out of 393 new positive cases, 165 are from Faridabad and 116 from Gurugram. According to Haryana Health Department, with this, the number of COVID-positive persons found so far in the state has risen to 14,941 and number of cured patients has gone up to 10,499. The death of 240 COVID patients have been reported so far.
In Meghalaya, the state government held talks with the armed forces in the wake of personnel based in the state testing positive for COVID-19. It has also directed the state chief secretary to write to the Ministry of Home Affairs to put on hold all types of transfer and postings of armed forces personnel. Meghalaya Health Minister A.L. Heck said that the state government held several rounds of meetings already with the heads of armed forces stationed in the state to discuss the situation and steps ahead. The health minister also informed that 2 more positive cases were found who are part of the high-risk contact of the BSF personnel. He said that the total number of positive cases stands at 53, with 42 recovered, 12 active cases. Deputy Chief Minister Preston Tinsong also informed that detailed discussion on packages announced by Prime Minister was held yesterday in a review meeting. In our series Experts Speak on All India Radio, we bring you the views of the leading medical experts on COVID-19. Speaking to AIR News, Dr. Sonali Bali, psychiatrist at Vidyasagar Institute of Mental Health and Neuro and Allied Sciences, New Delhi, said that misinformation regarding COVID through multiple unverified sources has led anxiety-related issues in people, which manifests in the form of social stigma. She advised everyone to limit exposure to only verified information sources.
One can be socially connected with near and dear ones. Limiting the use of internet, use it for better things like constructive workshops, maintaining a positive, optimistic attitude which will help in putting things in perspective. And one can also indulge in some basic relaxation techniques which can help a person deal with the anxiety associated with this period. And another thing I feel which is important is to maintain a kind and compassionate attitude towards others.
Dr. Saurabh Mehrotra, consultant at Mental Health Division in Medanta Hospital, emphasized that people should indulge in positive activities, namely reading books, music, exercise, amongst other activities. He says special care should be taken not to overexpose oneself to excessive COVID-related news, which leads to anxiety-related issues.
Positive addictions would include the creative arts, such as drawing, writing, painting. All of these qualify as positive addictions. Music is positive addictions. People who are interested in dancing, that's a positive addiction. Playing a game with family members has the beneficial effect of both the social interaction as well as the fun of the game. Some people like to do gardening, some people like to do cooking. All of these qualify as positive addictions and have a significant benefit in reducing the stress. Then social connection is very important.
The United Nations Security Council has demanded an immediate cessation of hostilities and key conflicts including Syria, Yemen, Libya, South Sudan and Congo to tackle COVID-19. This is the first resolution on the coronavirus. The UN's most powerful body voted unanimously yesterday to adopt the resolution after the United States and China resolved a lengthy dispute over mentioning the World Health Organization. Germany's UN ambassador Christoph Heusgen, the Council President for July, announced the result, calling it a sign for hope for all people currently living in conflict zones around the world. The resolution backs UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres' March 23rd call for global ceasefires to tackle the pandemic and demands an immediate cessation of hostilities in all conflicts on its agenda, which include key conflicts in the Middle East, Africa and elsewhere. The resolution sponsored by France and Tunisia states that these measures do not apply to military operations against the Islamic State and Al-Qaeda extremist groups and their affiliates. The quota system in the recruitment for Class 1 and Class 2 jobs through the Bangladesh Civil Services BCS came to an end with the publication of the result of the 38th BCS exams on Monday. Following large-scale protests in the country, the Bangladesh government had decided to scrap quotas for Class 1 and Class 2 jobs in the country in October 2018. The current batch of BCS would be the last batch to be selected under the quota system, which gave 56% reservation to various categories of candidates in these jobs. This included 30% for the family members of liberation war fighters, 10% for women, 10% for disadvantaged districts, 5% for small ethnic groups, and 1% for people with disabilities. However, the quota for the disabled people will continue. The quota will also continue for Class 3 and Class 4 jobs in the government. The quota system was introduced through an executive order in 1972. It has been amended several times since.
President Vladimir Putin has won a resounding victory in his bid to stay in power until the middle of the next decade. According to preliminary results, Russians voted overwhelmingly to endorse the country's political status quo. Russians went to the polls yesterday to cast ballots in a nationwide referendum on constitutional amendments. The vote paves the way for Putin, who has ruled for 2 decades, to remain president until 2036. Last night, Russia's Central Election Commission released a preliminary tally of results as polls close. After processing 50% of ballots, it said 76.24% of the citizens voted supporting the amendments. The early results are reminiscent of the 2018 presidential election, when Putin won re-election in a landslide with 3/4 of ballots cast. Back home in Madhya Pradesh, the second expansion of the state cabinet will take place today. The oath-taking ceremony will be held at Raj Bhavan at 11 a.m. About 24 ministers along with many new faces will be administered the oath in this expansion. Around 10 supporters of senior leader Jyotiraditya Scindia are also likely to be made ministers. Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan visited Delhi recently after a gap of about 120 days to discuss cabinet expansion in the state. The Chief Minister was accompanied by State BJP President V.D. Sharma and General Secretary Party Organisation Suhas Bhagat. In Delhi, he had a meeting with several top BJP leaders, including Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Home Minister Amit Shah, President J.P. Nadda and Union Minister Narendra Singh Tomar. The first expansion of the cabinet took place on 21st April when 5 ministers were inducted into the cabinet.
In Tamil Nadu, the Crime Investigation Department CBCID police has booked 4 policemen on charges of murder for the killing of the father-son duo from Satankulam. The CBCID Inspector General Shankar told reporters at Thuthukudi last night that the 2 FIRs filed earlier by the local police have been converted into murder charges against the sub-inspectors and 2 policemen. He said 1 sub-inspector has been arrested and remanded. He added that more people may also come under the investigation based on getting further leads. The investigation has been monitored by the Madurai bench of the Madras High Court. Union government has launched the special liquidity scheme of 30,000 crore rupees to improve the liquidity position for non-banking finance companies, NBFCs and housing finance companies, HFCs. The scheme was launched yesterday through a special purpose vehicle in the form of SLS Trust set up by the SBI Capital Markets Limited. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman announced it on the 13th of March this year. Ministry of Finance said Reserve Bank of India will provide funds for the scheme by subscribing to government-guaranteed special securities issued by the trust. The total amount of such securities issued outstanding shall not exceed 30,000 crore rupees at any point of time. The central government will provide an unconditional and irrevocable guarantee to the special securities issued by the trust. The scheme will remain open for 3 months for making subscriptions by the trust. The period of lending by the trust will be for a period of up to 90 days. The financing would be used by the NFBCs and HFCs only to repay existing liabilities and not to expand assets.
In Assam, nearly 15 lakh people are reeling under the fury of floods in 21 districts. Official sources said that 33 people lost their lives in the rain-related incidents so far. The surging water caused damages to infrastructure facilities, including roads, embankments and culverts. Nearly 15,000 people have been shifted to relief camps. Floodwaters also submerged parts of national parks and wildlife sanctuaries. Now, let's take a look at the weather update for the day. The national capital Delhi is expected to have partly cloudy sky with possibility of development of thunder and lightning. The minimum temperature was recorded at 30 degrees Celsius, while the maximum will be around 40 degrees Celsius. Mumbai will have a generally cloudy sky with moderate rain. The minimum temperature recorded was 25, while the maximum expected to be around 33. In Chennai, the minimum temperature was recorded at 27, maximum will be around 34. The metro city will have a generally cloudy sky with light rain or drizzle. Kolkata will have a partly cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. The minimum temperature in the metropolis was 27, while the maximum will be around 36. In the Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir, the minimum temperature was recorded at 26 degrees Celsius in Jammu, while the maximum will be around 38 degrees. The city is likely to have mainly clear skies. Srinagar, the minimum temperature was 17 degrees Celsius. The maximum will be around 33. The city will have a mainly clear sky. In Gilgit, the minimum temperature was recorded 16 and maximum 35. Sky will be mainly clear, becoming partly cloudy towards afternoon and evening. The sky in Muzaffarabad will be mainly clear. The city had a minimum temperature of 19, while maximum is expected to be around 38. Chandigarh will see a mainly clear sky. Minimum temperature 29, maximum 38. Dehradun will have partly cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. Minimum temperature 25, maximum 33. In Hyderabad, the sky will be generally cloudy with moderate rain. Minimum temperature was 24, maximum 34. Bengaluru experienced a minimum temperature of 20, while maximum will be around 29. The city will have a generally cloudy sky with 1 or 2 spells of rain or thunder showers. Ahmedabad will have partly cloudy sky. Minimum temperature in the city was recorded 28, while the maximum will be around 37. Bhopal will have a partly cloudy sky. Minimum temperature 24, maximum is expected to be around 35. And now an overview of today's newspapers. The Asian Age reports India-China set to disengage at LAC in batches. Railways opens door for private trains, leads the Hindustan Times, adding government says companies to run 151 trains on 109 routes. The Financial Express headline, China faces closed roads. The paper writes that Nitin Gadkari says Chinese firms can't bid in highway projects even as JV partners. Modi quits Chinese social media site, informs the Hindu, adding photo 115 posts removed from Weibo. Cashless rupees 2.5 lakh aid to road accident victims to obviate delay, states the Pioneer. New government policy to cover foreign nationals too, says the paper. No to Patanjali's Coronil, not as drug for COVID, informs the Tribune. And finally, asked to vacate Delhi residents, Priyanka Gandhi may shift to Lucknow, reports the Times of India.
And now, before we end the bulletin, the headlines once again. India and China committed to reduce tensions along the line of actual control. Both the sides to implement disengagement understanding of 6th June sincerely. Food and Public Distribution Minister Ram Vilas Paswan rolls out details of the second phase of the PM Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana. Uttar Pradesh government to launch a special campaign today for door-to-door medical screening in all districts of Meerut division. Second cabinet expansion of Madhya Pradesh cabinet to take place today. First resolution for coronavirus passed by United Nations Security Council demanding immediate cessation of hostilities in conflict zones to tackle the pandemic. And Russian President Vladimir Putin records resounding victory in the presidential polls according to preliminary results. And for details of these stories and more, log on to our website www.newsonair.com and News on AIR app. And with that, we end the morning news. Have a nice day.